Beautiful program we call Don't Train here on RSTV. Today is Thursday, a very beautiful day. I think the 12th day of October 2023. How time flies. I remember when we were shouting Happy New Year, this same year. And right now we are talking about the ember months, and today is the 12th day. So in no time October will be gone, then we'll be in November, and then we'll be in December. So nothing remains the same forever. My name is Gugu Iyala, and you're watching this program here live on RSTV. You've seen the headlines, while the music was playing. We showed you some of those headlines, and the sound was underneath, and then the headlines were, up there. Well, we hope that you are following up, and then some of those headlines that you saw made some sense to you, and then you would like to talk about them. That's why we are here, to talk about the things that affect us, to talk about the things happening around us, to talk about the things that touch, the things that touch us. That's why we're here. So you can call the number is on your screen, and let's talk about the things that the headlines that you've seen. This Tinubu certificate saga appears is not going to go away in a hurry, and we are having more and more people, weighing into this saga. Recently, the BBC Africa says there is no evidence from their own investigation that Tinubu submitted a forged certificate to INEC. Other groups have come to, to disagree with them, that actually there are evidence everywhere. It is the Supreme Court that is going to decide that, whether actually, Tinubu forged a certificate or not, and there's an evidence. First of all, if there's an evidence, and secondly, if the evidence is admissible or not admissible in court. All that will take place when the Supreme Court sits. So, but that's how it is. It has taken much of our time, much of our national space, everybody talking about that. And then, a lot of lawyers coming in to analyze the evidences that are, should I say, evidence in court, that have been discovered, and then how it's going to be like. Well, the Supreme Court, first of all, the question is, will the Supreme Court admit this evidence or not? And then secondly, whether they will be recognized as evidence, and then several issues. Let me just break it down a little bit so that we understand what is happening here. Of course, it is common knowledge that Atiku went to the Chicago State University, first of all, to ascertain whether Tinubu actually went to the school and he graduated, and secondly, the certificates that he used to gain admission, and everything about him, and somehow he was able to get it. Now, from the evidence that emanated from Chicago State University, yes, they said Tinubu was admitted into the school, and yes, on oath they didn't say he graduated, but they said he was in the school, and then they submitted his, his transcripts and stuff like that to show evidence. However, from the transcripts they submitted, there are some little discrepancies. There are some points where he, it is a Mr., and there are some points that, the Tinubu they're talking about appears to be a female, a male or female. So the admission, they say, was, from investigation, people are saying that the certificate, should I say, the entrance, that the certificate they used to gain admission is that of a woman, is female. But the man who went through the school was a male, so definitely that was Tinubu and all that. And there are also some arguments that he actually didn't graduate because there were some compulsory courses he was supposed to pass that he didn't pass, which were mathematics, and I think in English in the school. And there is no evidence that he actually passed those two courses. Anyway, that's that. But the main thing here is what Atiku and Co is fighting for is the Tinubu, because the school claimed that the certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC is not from them. They did not give him that certificate. They are not saying that he did not pass through the school. They are not saying that he didn't go to the school. But the certificate he submitted did not come from them. Now Atiku is saying that if the school did not give him that certificate, where did he get it from? So he must have submitted a forged certificate to INEC. So if he actually submitted a forged certificate to INEC, now that's where the catch comes from. Forgery is a criminal offense in Nigeria. However, the electoral law and the constitution and all that says the Supreme Court, first of all, is not a trial court. So since forgery is a criminal offense, the Supreme Court cannot be the originating court to try that kind of offense. It has to start from, from the lower courts, probably the High Court or Magistrate Court, wherever it's coming from. So if that is the case, at this point, at this juncture, the Supreme Court cannot try or cannot try Tinubu or cannot look at Atiku's evidence because it is not constitutionally empowered. In other words, it doesn't have the jurisdiction to try a forgery cause. That is left for the lower court. A criminal case, that is left for the lower court. So that way, in that sense, Atiku's discovery is useless, because the Supreme Court cannot try a forgery case. That's one of it. Now, the other argument, concerning all this is that the electoral law, the Electoral Act, says that a contestant who submits a forged certificate or a false certificate or whatever it is, can only be challenged by a fellow contestant from the same party. Even recently, there was some judgment that PDP lost, if you are following up, which simply says that if Tinubu actually submitted a forged certificate for the primaries, it is only another APC presidential candidate, that has the right to challenge him, or his party has the right to challenge him. A candidate from another party or any other Nigerian does not have the right to challenge him. That's what the law says. Now, if that is what the law says, and then you have to do that within 14 days of INEC making his submission public. So in other words, Tinubu's certificate problem is a pre-election problem and not a post-election. The matter before the Supreme Court right now is a post-election, whether he won the election or he did not win, or all that. That is what is before the Supreme Court. So, and then you have 14 days in 2022, not even 2023, because the primaries were done in 2022, and that was when he submitted his certificate. So in 2022, that was when he would have challenged the authenticity of that certificate. And so since you did not challenge it, even though you don't have the right if you are not an APC person, and since no APC candidate challenged that certificate, it then means that you cannot bring a pre-election issue as a problem that occurred before the election and bring it up after the election. That is what some lawyers are arguing. I'm not a lawyer, actually. I'm telling you what the lawyers are arguing, some of the issues before us, and then how the Supreme Court might look at the case. So you have these two scenarios now. First of all, they say the certificate, only his party men can challenge, not just any random party man, but only somebody who contested against him, or contested during the primaries, that can challenge whether the certificate was genuine or not. And since they didn't do it 2 weeks after, it's statute bound. In other words, the law prevents any other challenge after that. That is what they are saying. Then they also, then this other issue, and some other issues surrounding it. And then finally, the question is, the Supreme Court, will it, let's say, finally, all these arguments, it passes through the argument. The final junction is, will the Supreme Court accept the new evidence, considering the fact that, you know, the evidences have all supposed to have been submitted at the appeal court, or before, you know, even before the appeal court or at the appeal court level. Now, after the presidential election, the petition tribunal, you are coming up with a new evidence. Will the Supreme Court accept such new evidence? And if it's going to accept the evidence, because even if it's going to accept the evidence, the lawyers are saying that the evidence has to be relevant, you know, to the case. And if this particular evidence is not relevant because it is supposed to be, you know, submitted for since 2022, and now you're bringing up 2023, you know, will it be acceptable? These are some of the arguments that lawyers, you know, who claim to know, I don't know actually, I'm not a lawyer, I must say, but these are the arguments they are bringing forward to say that why Atiku's fight to disqualify Tinubu will be in futility. However, the Supreme Court is made up of learned judges. They have their own way of looking at things, you know, and then they can come up with any situation, and just as it happened during the Omehia Amechi matter in River State. The Supreme Court came up with a judgment and then said nobody should cite that judgment, you know, in law in Nigeria. It was just a one-off thing, and since then, they've not given any judgment towards that direction. So there are a lot of things that could happen. This same Supreme Court, you know, in Nigeria, made Uzodimma, who came forth the first in you know, Imo State in an election matter. So anything can just happen in the Supreme Court. Just anything can just happen. But you know how lawyers think and all that. But right now, you know, we're waiting for them. We're waiting for the lawyers. We're waiting for the judges to sit down and take a look at them. We must know that these judges are not God. They are not the Holy Spirit, so they don't know everything. You know, they act based on their knowledge, as far as their knowledge can take them, and their conscience. So we have two issues there. We have the conscience. We also have the knowledge. So if you think they've made a mistake, please forgive them. If you remember, they're not God. But if you think they are doing right, just let it be. It's our country. We can't burn down this country because of one issue. But let me hear let me also hear from you. The number is there. Call that number and let's talk. Hello. Good morning. Okay, just call and let's talk. You know, we have some time here. We have about 8 more minutes to be here. So let's talk. What do you think about the issues we are discussing here, the headlines and all that? You know, several things are happening actually, not only that, on that international level there, we still have Israel fighting for survival. You know, they have an existential issue there, and many more. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. All right, sir. Could you... Sir, thank you. Please turn down the volume of your TV, sir.
Okay. Let me do that.
Challenge Tinubu. Well, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Please go ahead. I'm listening to you. Oh, I lost that caller. Please just, you know, let's talk when you call. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome. Please, I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm interested for the program.
Okay. Okay. So he's interested in the program. So I'm also interested in the program. That's why I'm here. Please, I want to talk with you. I want to get your opinion. I want to get your comments. What do you think? Hello. Good morning. Please kill the volume of your TV. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, please turn down the volume of your TV. Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. Concerning this certificate saga, so what I just to that matter is, I think we just portray I take it as a fruitless effort because it's a matter of ground. The election is not reached. So I think that's what it should just focus on. Thank you very much.
All right, so you're welcome. All right, so we're still waiting for your call. You can call, and also let's also hear from you. What do you think about the things? Atiku and Tinubu are not the only topics we have in the headlines. There we have some also stories on the headlines. You can also comment on some of those stories. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
My own opinion is this. This matter is not only Atiku and Tinubu. You and me know that the blood runs in our vein, and also the vein of a lawyer. That Tinubu hijacked the election, that he never won that election. Me and you know. Now the lawyers are there, painting the matter left to right, right to center. I think it's not the best way. They're coming to our lawyers and now saying that who the people that have right to challenge Tinubu is the party members in the APC, and that thing should be done by 2 weeks time, and their party member. All those things is nonsense. It's an arrant nonsense, because what our Nigerian lawyers are doing, can they practice it outside? The answer is no. Not bringing an issue in a television and people to waste their time commenting, and after making that comment, it ends there. People are suffering. Only politicians are the ones making ends meet. How many Nigerians, be you graduates or not graduates, that their salary is 50,000, civil servants? A bag of rice is 50,000, and they are there disturbing us. We know that Tinubu and his schoolmates, Wiki, and all the people that supported him, they pick this election. If they won this election free and fair, and Nigerians are painting this matter, and every time they bring one topic for people to discuss, and people are dying, we are suffering. Time resume. People are buying a bag of rice, 7,000. How much is $1? 10. Now $1 is 1,000 plus. Fuel is over 600 naira. And we are here pampering issues. People are selling their properties, moving abroad. This is not something we say for crying out loud. People know that we are Nigerians, we are suffering. Let's leave what lawyers say, what me and you say. Lawyers, are they not human beings?
All right, so
that's why when they died, they turn their face upside down. They see the white, they call it black. What our Nigerian lawyers are doing, they are not doing anything. You should remember they have children. If they like, let them fly all their children abroad. But there is a law of karma. When patient Jonathan said there is God, though, the children writing WAEC, they don't know how to speak English. They call it chipotle and all that. We all know that this is our fraud. The so-called vice president of this country is the chief of Boko Haram. Oh. How many of Boko Haram they got in his house in Abuja?
All right,
they wrote Peter to take off. They allowed the matter to lie low.
All right,
they are here suffering innocent in Nigeria. There is God, though.
Thank you, sir, for calling. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, actually, you know, we need to understand how these things work. Some of the lawyers we blame didn't write the Constitution. The Constitution was drafted, you know, by a different set of lawyers, actually, although they are all lawyers. And then some people okayed the Constitution, and the lawyers only argue, you know, along the law. They don't argue outside the law. They follow the Constitution. So the problem we have is the Constitution. The problem we have is the law. If the law says only his party men can challenge him,